has not responded.
Okay, no worries. It is 8:32 and we are here for the Road and Bridge Department update, and we'll turn it over to Director Jason Toth.
All right, first up, I have an action item for you guys. It's our financial report. So Bonner County Road and Bridge Department is requesting approval of the attached fiscal year 2024 annual road and street financial report.
Do you have that report?
Yeah, do you not have it?
I just have this one.
You're gonna need both. Yeah.
It's all right.
I don't know what is in that. All right. So under Idaho Code 40-708, to report monies received and spent by the Road and Bridge Department during the budgetary period. For the year, the certification shall be made by the 31st of December each year and published once as a legal notice between January 1st and the 15th. Also attached is a copy of the legal notice. I think I just handed it to you, Asia. That'll go on the paper between the 1st and the 15th.
Yep.
The auditors assisted with this report. The fiscal 2024 annual street and financial report includes actual funding from local, state, and federal sources along with actual expenditures. This one here, if you don't have it.
This is no different than the email one the last one that you sent out. There were no changes.
It's the same.
Okay.
I did change this to save this instead of his report.
Okay.
I was supposed to save this.
Okay.
It's been signed off by auditing. It's also had, I got the emails here if you guys want them for Christian and Bill, both.
Okay.
Even though they don't provide anything for this.
And that's okay, just so long as they cross off saying they didn't need to do anything, so I'll just put reviewed, because it's just that they review it.
Do you want the report or the email?
Nope, I just want to check, I just checked the box that says they reviewed it. We're good.
And that would be it. That should have a motion for you on there too.
Yep. All right, at this time, we'll entertain a motion.
Based on the information before us, I move to approve the fiscal 2024 annual road and street financial report and have the board certify and sign the report administratively.
I second the motion. Any discussion from the board?
None?
Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes?
Commissioner White?
Yes?
Motion passes, and now we'll do the update on Road and Bridge.
All right, so thank you for that. So I can get that into the state today. I wanted to have a discussion about the Schedule A agreement with the Forest Service. That's been looked at by legal as well, and I'll be presenting that to you guys coming up here shortly. And that Schedule A agreement is an agreement where we do some work for the Forest Service, they do some work for us.
Oh, I'm going to pause you. Commissioner Bradshaw is online.
I'm here.
Oh,
Couldn't find the unmute.
okay.
Now I'm
Are you okay if we don't go backwards and ask for your vote, but acknowledge that you're here? Because we already voted on his budget.
I was there for it. I was just muted.
Oh, so do you want to cast your vote on it then, since you were there?
Yeah. It's yeah.
Okay, and then can she use your stamp?
She can.
All right, thank you.
All right. So one of the meetings I had with the Forest Service, we were going over those specific roads that we maintain. I went and looked at a lot of them that they're wanting us to add in that we did not add in. And then Tom brought something up when he came back, and it completely went over my head because I forgot about it. But up there on Trestle Creek past our snowmobile turnaround, there's just a little section in there that we maintain for them. Well, they used to have a turnaround provided for us up there, the Forest Service did, and then the landowner, some new guy, bought the property and gated off that turnaround. So it's caused us a lot of problems getting our equipment turned around up there. And the guy has made threats of suing the county if we touch his gate and all kinds of stuff up there. So I wanted to have you guys' opinion, because when I had talked to him, I hadn't thought about that, and I told him I was okay with what we got moving forward. But if we're not gonna be okay with that, I need to let the Forest Service know so we can change that before we bring it to you, that we'll only maintain to the snowmobile turnaround.
I say only to the snow turnaround because we don't want to do litigation over someone's gate. But also, and I think this might be part of your conversation, they want us to add more roads in that we didn't budget for this year.
No, so when I met with them earlier, they're wanting us to add more roads in that we hadn't budgeted for. I drove some of those roads, told me we would not be adding anything in this year.
Okay,
If they wanted to add anything additional, this gets done every 5 years. So that gives us time to look at that. And if they
Okay.
were able to get those roads up to our standard for that,
okay.
then we
I
could
just don't
look
want
at
to
that.
add any more in at this time. I say only up to the turnaround. What do you think, Commissioner Corn?
Especially if it's not safe for you guys to turn around.
And
It's
in the
not.
past, we've only gone up to the snowmobile.
Commissioner
We've been
Bradshaw?
added Going up farther because
They sit so far away from the microphone on purpose, like they want an extra row back there, but they want to talk. Can we get into the microphone? And let them keep the
So-
microphone back there. It doesn't, we can still see.
I'm hiding. So years ago, we used to turn around at the snowmobile park, and then it was added going up a little bit farther because there was residents that lived up there that are taxpayers. Like Jason said, it's just turned into a nightmare trying to turn around up there. Our trucks have gotten stuck. So the feasible way is just go back to the snowmobile turnaround. There's plenty of room there.
All right, and then the community that wants it plowed greater than what we can plow needs to address it as a community issue, not a county.
Yeah, or
issue.
with the Forest Service. I will reach out to Joe Heisel and them and let them know that this is the direction you guys are wanting to head, and we will actually have them rewrite that, and then I'll present it.
Okay, sounds
Take that
good.
out. The next thing I wanted you guys' thoughts on, we've got a Durapatcher that is almost 30 years old that we've been using for all 3 districts. It has seen its better days. We have got just about all the life we can get out of this thing. It's nonstop breaking down. We can't hardly keep putting it together anymore. So we were looking at wanting to purchase a new Durapatcher going forward. I budget for equipment every year. I budget $250,000 in the equipment purchase line just in case we have things like this come up that we're wanting to look at, like our sanders. We got those 4 new trucks. We'll probably end up buying a couple of sanders at some point. And I put that on here too. But I wanted you guys' thoughts on me moving forward, because it is gonna be over 150,000, so it will take a formal bidding. So I'll have to put it in front of you guys to go out for formal bidding, and then.
What is a Durapatcher?
So a Durapatcher, we use chips like we do for chip sealing. And it's in a truck, and it actually augers out through a sander into an actual patch machine that it funnels through, and we can blow oil on the ground. It's usually like a DP1 or a CRST that we use. And
Because
we'll
we
spray
understood
out
all
on
of
the-
that.
Huh?
Because we understood all of that. What is, you gave acronyms.
DP1, Durapatcher 1, it's
Okay.
it's an actual oil that is used specific for that
Yeah.
Durapatcher. The CRS2, that's a chip seal oil like we use when we go out chip sealing. It's just, it doesn't have the polymer in it. That's basically the difference. And it sets up really fast. So we spray that out on the ground and mix it with the chip, and it sets for a really nice patch when we're done with it.
Is that what that piece of equipment that I've seen before that blows it out with a big
Yep.
hose kind of thing? Is that what this is?
Yep.
Yeah. It's made for patching. It's made for patching
It's
potholes.
built for just that. And we use it in all 3 districts, so it gets a lot of use. And it got a whole lot of use when we first bought it, because our roads were not even close to the shape they are now. But it is time to replace it or bring in new ones so we can try and use both of them throughout the districts. Maybe that'll help us out too, if we can keep the other one running as long as we can. So it's something that I'm gonna bring up to you guys, and I wanted your thoughts on it.
I had just some questions on, in terms of, I don't have a problem purchasing it, but with the 250, that's is that do you feel good about the other equipment in terms of what you'll have left? Because it still drained a little bit of that.
Yeah, so when I do look at our other equipment, I usually budget that because a loader is pretty expensive, backhoes, excavators, things like that. We've replaced quite a bit of that stuff here lately. So now we're looking at the sander and the Durapatcher for this year. If something was to come out where I needed to replace it for next year, it wouldn't get replaced until next year.
So what I don't have a problem with it. I think that you guys do, your budget does a really good job of explaining where you are and where you're going. And the public doesn't hear it because they don't come to this meeting. When we do budget, I think you should advertise the detail that you go into of your budget because it also helps educate other people in the organization about future forecasting and planning for anticipated things that will hit your budget so that we can use what you're doing to help other people also. Your budget is different because a lot of federal stuff makes the person who's in charge of your budget better at doing budgets than some of the other departments just inherently because of the structure. This is something that I think the community of those involved in budgets need to hear, that they need to be looking at the equipment and the things that will hit their budget at high ticket items and planning for it so that you're really not asking us, you're just telling us, okay, this has broken and I budgeted to have this fixed within my budget, which is a completely different than I have no money and it broke, now find the money. That's the latter is more of how the county is operated versus you saying, I've got the money, I just am telling you I need to start spending it on this. So I'd like you to advertise more of what you do in your budget during the budget cycle to help others. I don't have a problem with it, which is why I always say I'm not looking at your budget as much, because you're always front loading it with saying that you've already planned for something like this. So that's my only comment is, other people need to hear this conversation in the regular. Anyhow.
So are you adding new trucks and sanders, or
I
are
bought
you
4 new
replacing?
trucks last year, but they're not here yet. They're gonna be here,
March.
well, like January, February now. They got rolled back a little bit. We were supposed to have them in October. Now it's January, February before they're gonna be finished. So I bought those trucks, right? I have the money in my budget right now. I haven't actually paid for them yet. I just rolled it forward to this year because we did that contract last year. It wasn't gonna be finished till this fiscal year. So I rolled that 1.3 million forward for those trucks. Those are new trucks that are coming in to the department. We have some old trucks, but we have no spares. So a lot of our old trucks, we're running them right in the ground every day, and we need a backup, right? So having these 4 new trucks come in leaves us a few spares. So when one breaks, he can jump in another truck and go out and plow while the mechanic's working on it, because we just don't have them anymore. We ran everything. We want our old equipment that we can't really do much with. That's what we're using for a backup if we have to, because they're hard to get parts for. So we just use them as a backup. We run them in the ground, and when there's nothing left of them, we auction them off.
Okay.
Yep. I am looking at a different program though, of leasing trucks. They've never done it in the past, because as soon as you put a plow on them, they lose their warranty on there. But this company that we bought these from, this Western Star Freightliner, they are doing lease programs now with other agencies. And what they're doing with them is you own them at the end of the lease. It costs you $1 at the end of the lease, and then they transfer the title into your name. And then they can use that as a trade-in for a new one, but you don't get a guaranteed buyback like we do with our graders. It's whatever that truck is. So if that truck gets rolled and mutilated during its 5-year time with us, you're not gonna get much out of it. But if it's still in decent shape, we could trade it in and get a trade-in value towards another truck. It's interesting because when you start looking at the purchasing requirements of over 150,000, we have to have formal bidding. I'm not quite certain how that works in the lease or doing an actual trade-in to those folks. I feel like it would just be going to one specific vendor. We can't legally do that. So I got some more stuff. I gotta look into that before we move forward with presenting a lease option to you guys on a truck. But it could put us out, if it's a possibility, it could put us out to where I'm paying, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year for the truck rather than trying to come up with 1.3 million at any given time to buy trucks. I could lease a couple, but then I still have to budget for that 5 years for that money. So it has to come from somewhere, and it's somewhere looking at,
Okay.
trying to make it an easier transition.
Okay. So this part is just a discussion, not a decision. So you'll
Just a
just bring the
discussion.
Dura request to the board for a vote, or is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, so what I will do is I will actually do a little bit more research on the dirt patcher. The ones I've been looking at are over 150, so I will be coming forward to you guys and asking for permission to advertise for bids, and we'll put it out for bid advertisement, and then it'll come to you guys in a sealed bid, and then once we receive the sealed bid, you guys will look at it, then you'll give it back to me, and then we'll decide which one we're gonna go with, and then I'll bring it back again.
On
See
something
you
like
guys.
this, how large of a footprint do you do the request for bids so that it's not just, because a lot of times some of this bigger equipment you can find farther out of our footprint. So are you going to advertise farther than just our area?
Yeah, a lot of this stuff goes all over.
Okay. I just want to make sure we
There'll be people
don't
from outside the state.
limit
too.
ourselves just to our small little area, because that's
Right.
more expensive than other
No, it's
places.
advertised and it goes everywhere.
Okay,
For
all right.
that. We get bids with our graders and stuff come from all over.
Okay, all righty.
And that's what I have. I will put it to District 1. What do you got going on? Oh, he ain't here, is he? Oh, yes, he is. He walked in. What do you guys got going on, Mike?
Just continuing tree trimming, waiting for snow.
Supposed to be this Sunday up here.
Melted out on our roads right now, so we're in good shape. There's potholes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, how about District 2?
Plowing snow up around the lake, sanding roads, brushing up around the lake, and spot grading when possible at Crown Creek.
Tom?
Oh, brushing out in Clark Fork, spot grading, graveling where we can when it's dry enough to, and sanding. Some of our gravel roads still have ice floor on them, so we're still sanding those up. And working on vehicles and equipment in the shop.
Bucky?
Encroachments have slowed down quite a bit, but sign repair, a lot of sign repair this year. So, not so much on the traffic counting, I don't want to get banged up on the plows. They're pretty close to the road and they're pretty expensive, so just usually do those in the spring. So,
I have a
spring through summer.
District 2 question, maybe this is just general road and bridge, but District 2 might know what I'm talking about. On the Blanchard Loop Road, we had a tree fall over the road, and it's been cut and put on both sides of the road. Is that for, the tree itself wasn't like close to the road, is that for the county to remove and dispose of the rest of that tree because it still pokes over the road a little bit, or is that the closest owner of the tree? I was asked that question, I said, I don't know.
It's a District 1
Or,
for there,
Yeah.
but if it's off of private
I always think
property-
legislate our district for voting, but
Right.
yeah, I always do that when I come to this one.
If it's off private property and falls across our right of way, we just cut it off the edge of the road there to let people through, but it is up to the property owner to
Okay.
remove that tree.
No worries, we're
If it
arguing
came
over
from our
that.
right of way,
Yeah,
we usually clean them up in the springtime.
okay. Do you know what tree I'm talking about? No, okay.
Blanchard,
The Blanchard Loop. So if you like do the right on Conoco and then go into the Blanchard Loop, there was a large tree that fell, and part of the tree still sticks in part of the road, but it is not, it's not blocking driving. So the dispute has been who is supposed to go and cut the rest of it to get it off, especially as we come towards snow, because we end up driving closer to the edge, which means you'll scrape what's left over. So we're doing the, not my tree, is it the
Is it?
county?
Is
So-
it on an actual road called Blanchard Loop, or are you talking about Poyer?
It's, well, it is, everyone calls it Poyer, but if you
Okay.
actually come in on the Conoco side, the sign says Blanchard Loop, which creates the problem of how nobody knows how to find anything down there.
Yeah, that's on the Ponderay County side.
Yeah, so, but so the two roads have different names coming in.
Right.
But it's still on the Washington side, I think-ish, of the road, so it still says Blanchard. Anyhow,
So that would be a Washington tree then?
I don't know. That's why nobody's touching it, because no one knows. We are, grab your torch and pitchfork. Nobody's moving that tree unless we have to. So that's, it could be a
You want
Washington
to go
tree.
take a look at
Yeah, I
that?
can take a look at it.
You could just, and then you can just text me and tell me who is supposed to fix it, and then we'll tell whoever it is to go and fix their tree.
There you go.
Because, no, right on, somewhere in that area, there's been talk about development, and so it's caused a thing of no one wants to help this place look any better, so no one's moving that tree. So, anyhow,
We do have 2 guys out, kind of making sure trees are cut back today.
okay. All right, thank you.
Hopefully looking for it.
No worries. All right, that was my
So,
only
I got a
comment.
question. Is sanding a proper term this year,
Sandy?
or graveling?
It's our sand. It's a 5/8 minus, our sand is.
That's some pretty big stuff.
Yeah.
So why the
Woods
change
made
there?
this sand this year, and this is a new sand that he created. So we're actually seeing how well it works. The stuff we've had before is more like a blow sand, like a talcum powder. It looks good, but it doesn't do anything. The first time it snows, a snowflake will cover it up and the road's slick. With this stuff, it pokes its head up, as Tom would say, and it allows for traction even when it's snowing. So people are still getting good traction on it. When the snow melts off, we got a lot of gravel everywhere that we have to go sweep off. But yeah, it is something we've been looking at. Our problem is we don't have any pits, right? So we're having to buy the sand, and it's costing us about $500,000 a year just for the 2 districts in sand. I'd like to buy some pits. We're looking at it. I've talked with Asia a bit about it. We've been trying to find something, but pits are hard to find. And the one that I did find, I need to talk with the lady about. I don't know how well it would benefit Tom. It would help Clark Fork specifically, but it wouldn't really help him out in this area. I am working with ITD right now. I'm trying to do one where I get royalty or pay royalties to them for their Grouse Creek pit that they have out there right now, so we can start mining that, because our pit's mined out. And they're working with me on that. They said that's a possibility, Damon did, so hopefully I can get something moving with them on that for next year, so we can shake our own sand. Priest River, they've got quite a few pits, so they've been able to shake their own sand, which has been real helpful here lately. But that's kind of the pickle we're in. Back in the day, former directors and stuff shut down a lot of the gravel pits we had, and they shouldn't have, because they're almost impossible to open back up. You know, so trying to get those pits back open isn't very easy. So we need to buy something that's pretty much established,
Okay.
if we can.
And then we have an issue out there at that new bridge site.
With it being rough. Yeah, so I drove up there Friday because I was getting a lot of complaints. If I did the 10 mile an hour, it wasn't as bad as what they were saying, but those guys were informed on it. I talked with the contractor on it. They were planning on getting out there last week to grade it. It didn't sound like they did because it was still icy. When I was up there, it still had ice. It was like ice ruts, I think, was what was more causing the potholes. But they're supposed to be up there grading that, so I will reach back out to them. We're not allowed to touch the bridge because they don't want us to do any damage to that abutment or anything until they get the bridge finished. So they're taking on all the plowing, all the pothole repairs, everything on that. I told them it was gonna be a job for them because we have a lot of people that live up there and we do our roads a little different than most, so.
I'm
they're
getting
aware of
calls.
it.
I'm sure you're getting calls.
Oh yeah, I'm getting called.
Okay.
I don't know who the one person is. They have some business up there, but they have my email. They're talking to me quite a bit. They wanted to go directly to the contractor. I told them no, they need to come through me. That way we can keep tabs
Right.
of what's going on with it. It is a federal aid project. It's a 2-year project, so we need to just ride along with it. Otherwise, it'll cost us money.
Okay.
And that's money we didn't budget for, so.
So hopefully they'll be out there.
Yeah, I'll forward
This week,
another
next
email
week.
out to Adam, and hopefully they'll be out there this week.
Okay.
It's hard to say with Christmas here, I don't know. But I'll forward another email to him. I sent one back out to Adam on Friday as well.
Okay.
Even the
Thanks.
plowing of that bridge, we can't touch.
Yeah.
Contractor does
Yeah,
that
because it's
also.
not ours yet, really. It's really theirs, huh?
They don't want the damage to the concrete from our plows,
Right.
because they still have to overlay that.
And you can understand that.
Yeah,
But the potholes are theirs.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
And
they
we
threw that down at
reduced
the
it
last
to-
minute, didn't compact it very well and left.
Well, we reduced it to 10 mile an hour, the speed through there. People don't like to do 10 mile an hour through there. But if you drive it out the speed limit, it's not as bad, but it's still rough.
It
But I
is.
did go up and look at it because I had a feeling you'd be talking to me about it as well.
Because I'm getting calls,
Oh, yeah.
so.
I think potholes are bad right now just because we changed temperature.
Yeah, we got so much
I mean,
rain
it's,
this year.
and then like even on the road where the tree is, it's filled with potholes. And in part, it's, nobody wants to drive a lower speed to dodge all the potholes. It's part of it.
It's a bear when it gets this wet, because if we grade it, it just creates mud.
Yeah.
And blows it back out, and then it gets worse and worse and worse, you know, so. If we get some good dry days and we get that stuff to dry up, we can try it, but the ground is so saturated right now. We don't have the heat,
Yeah.
you know, to dry them out and set them up. I'd like to pave everything, but we don't have that much money.
What?
Someday.
It's not
maybe.
in your budget?
Not in the budget.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all we have.
Anything from you, Commissioner Bradshaw?
Nope.
All right. With that, it is 8:59 and we will adjourn this meeting.